Hello and welcome to Firstpost Live, where we bring you the day's top 4 stories from across the world. I am Joshua Barnes, live from the Firstpost studios. Let's begin with the headlines. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky calls on Donald Trump to pressure Chinese leader Xi Jinping to reduce support for Russia ahead of their meeting this week. Venezuela suspends a major gas supply deal with Trinidad and Tobago after President Nicolas Maduro condemns the island for hosting a US warship near Venezuelan waters. The world's most powerful storm this year, Melissa, inches closer to Jamaica, forcing mass evacuations and leaving residents anxious as its slow approach already claims 7 lives across the Caribbean. Sudan's Joint Forces, a group aligned with the army, accuses the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces of executing more than 2,000 unarmed civilians, mostly women and children, after seizing control of El Fasher. And Elon Musk's AI firm xAI launches Grokopedia, a new online encyclopedia to challenge Wikipedia, claiming it will be 10 times better and free from ideological bias. Hello and welcome. Today we begin with the latest updates from US President Donald Trump's Asia visit. He is in Japan for the second leg of his Asia tour. He held bilateral talks with the country's first female Prime Minister, newly appointed Sanae Takaichi. The talks focused on trade and security. During the meeting, Trump underscored US-Japan ties and called Washington Tokyo's strongest ally. Takaichi hailed the golden era of bilateral relations and said she would nominate Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. This for brokering a truce between Thailand and Cambodia and the Gaza ceasefire deal.
I often heard from Prime Minister Abe about President Trump's dynamic diplomacy. You contributed to Asia's peace, including helping bring about a ceasefire deal between Thailand and Cambodia, and more recently, the agreement in the Middle East, which was an unprecedented historic achievement.
Trump held talks with Takaichi at the Akasaka Palace in downtown Tokyo this morning. The duo also signed a trade deal that laid the framework for Washington's access to Japan's critical minerals and rare earths.
Just signing a new deal, and it's a very fair deal, and we look forward to welcoming Japan into the United States and a continuation, and it's something that everybody is very, very excited about.
I am determined to restore a strong Japanese diplomacy in order to fully protect Japan's national interests. I'm ready to promote further collaboration with the U.S. to achieve a free and open Indo-Pacific.
Japan faces a 15% levy on most of its exports to the United States. And under the terms shared by the White House for a deal agreed to in July, Tokyo is expected to invest $550 billion into the American markets. Takaichi also gifted Trump a golf putter of the late Japanese Premier Shinzo Abe. Also a golf bag signed by Japanese major winner Hideki Matsuyama and a gold leaf golf ball. After bilateral talks, Trump headed to meet the families of Japanese citizens abducted by North Korea decades ago. North Korea admitted in 2002 that it had sent agents to kidnap 13 Japanese nationals who trained spies.
We are with the Prime Minister and her strong feeling. She's got tremendous feeling. And as you know, I've been here before. Some of the people I've met before. And it continues onward. They've been looking for so many years, so long.
And Trump also visited the USS George Washington aircraft carrier, docked at an American airbase in Japan. He addressed troops at the US base. The president will conclude his Japan visit after a dinner with Japanese business leaders. Yesterday, Trump was received by Japanese Emperor Naruhito at the presidential palace. The meeting between the two lasted for more than half an hour. Trump will then head to South Korea next to attend the APEC summit and hold bilateral talks with his South Korean counterpart, Lee Jae-myung. In the last leg of his Asia tour, Trump will also meet Chinese President Xi Jinping. The much-anticipated high-stakes meeting would come amid a raging trade war between the US and China. Now let's talk about metals. Gold is losing its shine again. Prices of the precious metal have tumbled to a near 3-week low, wiping out some of the massive gains made earlier this month. Spot gold slipped below the $4,000 per ounce mark today, its lowest level in nearly 3 weeks. That's after the metal had touched a record high of over $4,380 earlier this month. So, what's really happening here? Well, let's start with why gold prices were so high in the first place. Over the past few months, investors rushed to buy gold as the US-China tariff war rattled supply chains and threatened global growth. Gold became a safety net, a store of value when everything else looked risky. But now, as signs of a truce emerge between Washington and Beijing, investors are breathing easier. On Sunday, top negotiators from both sides outlined a framework for a trade deal. That's set to be discussed further when President Donald Trump meets President Xi in South Korea on Thursday. When tensions ease, investors feel less need to park their money in gold, and that's exactly what's happening now. The second big reason for the drop is profit booking. After gold's massive rally this year, some investors are simply cashing out. They're taking their profits while prices are still high, especially as festive demand begins to fade. Then there's investors' appetite for risk. When optimism returns to global markets, investors tend to move away from safe haven assets like gold and towards riskier ones such as stocks. That shift in sentiment from fear to confidence naturally pulls money out of gold. The next big test comes this week, with major central bank meetings lined up. All eyes are on the US Federal Reserve, which is expected to cut interest rates again. Now, here is the interesting part. Gold usually benefits when interest rates are low because returns from saving accounts and bonds tend to shrink. If the Fed signals on Wednesday that this could be the last rate cut for a while, that could further weaken gold's outlook. The European Central Bank and the Bank of Japan are also meeting this week, and both are expected to keep their rates steady. So is gold really losing its charm? Well, not quite, as precious metals are known to be volatile. Even with this correction, gold prices are still way higher than what they were at the start of the year. Gold prices have gained about 44% this year alone. The precious metal is up around 5% this month, and the metal's long-term appeal as a hedge against uncertainty, inflation and volatile markets remains intact. But in the short term, gold may see a few more choppy sessions.
6% drawdown on Monday or Tuesday, whatever it was, does not concern us in terms of the long-term thesis of having something that is a store of value against debt that is going to be the most likely scenario.
And it is not just gold that is facing the brunt. Other metals, including silver and platinum, have slipped too. The real question now is, will gold find its footing again if the US-China deal falters? Or has the world's favourite safe haven finally lost some of its shine in calmer waters? Either way, one thing is certain. In markets as unpredictable as these, gold may fall, but it never stays out of the spotlight for long. Moving on, and Amazon is reportedly preparing for one of its biggest corporate layoffs since 2022. The tech giant will cut nearly 14,000 jobs. According to a Reuters report, it was earlier reported that Amazon plans to lay off 35,000 corporate staff from Tuesday. The move is aimed at cutting expenses and correcting overhiring that happened during the pandemic when online shopping surged and Amazon rapidly expanded its workforce. Amazon has around 1.55 million employees in total, out of which roughly 350,000 are corporate employees. The layoffs will reportedly affect several departments, including human resources, operations, devices and services, and Amazon Web Services, the company's cloud business. Reports say managers in affected teams were asked to undergo training on Monday on how to inform employees before official emails begin going out on Tuesday. CEO Andy Jassy has been trying to make the company run faster by cutting extra management layers. Earlier this year, he even launched an anonymous complaint line where employees could report unnecessary processes. It's received over 1,500 responses and led to more than 450 changes in how Amazon operates. Amazon CEO Jassy had also said that artificial intelligence would take over many repetitive office tasks. Experts believe Amazon is now using those AI tools to boost efficiency, which could be one reason behind these job cuts. Reports also suggest that Amazon's strict return to office policy didn't lead to enough resignations. Some employees who failed to swipe in daily were marked as having left the company on their own, saving Amazon from paying severance packages. Amazon is not alone in downsizing. According to the website layoffs.fyi, around 98,000 tech jobs have already been cut this year across more than 200 companies worldwide. Amazon's cloud division, AWS, its biggest moneymaker, earned around $31 billion in the April to June period, but its growth was slower than Microsoft and Google. Last week, a 15-hour AWS outage also affected popular apps like Snapchat and Venmo, affecting productivity. Despite the layoffs, Amazon's share price rose slightly by around 1.5% as the company prepared to announce its next earnings results. It also plans to hire 250,000 temporary workers for the holiday shopping season, the same amount as last year. Amazon also carried out smaller rounds of layoffs in 2023 and 2024. The move shows how major tech companies are reshaping their workforce, balancing the rise of artificial intelligence with the need to cut costs in a slowing economy. And our final story is from the United Kingdom. A 20-year-old Indian origin woman has been left traumatised after what police are describing as a racially aggravated rape in central England's Walsall. The young woman, said to be of Punjabi heritage, was found in distress on a quiet street over the weekend. Hours later, British police launched a manhunt, releasing CCTV footage of a white man with short hair dressed in dark clothing. By Monday morning, the suspect, a 32-year-old man, was arrested in connection with the alleged attack. The detective leading the investigation said the woman has been informed. He said in a statement that the victim's safety and well-being is the department's priority. The woman will continue to receive full support from specially trained officers. For many, the arrest offers little comfort. The trauma of what happened and fear it has spread across communities runs deep.
I'm very much shocked, frustrated. This sort of what happened to the ladies or young ladies, it is intolerable. It is shocking, and very shocking. We do not need this sort of situation happening again in Walsall Borough. Well, I have been living in Darlington over 61 years, and I never ever heard that sort of incident happen in Darlington. But recently, what's happening is beyond my thinking, and I'm shocked actually. And since this happened on the 27th of October, I have been receiving calls, and which is a shocking news, and the people are concerned seriously about it.
Several British politicians have reacted to this tragic incident. Zarah Sultana, Member of Parliament for Coventry South, stated on X that these horrifying attacks show how racism and misogyny feed each other. Meanwhile, Preet Kaur Gill, a lawmaker from the ruling Labour Party, also condemned the attack on X. According to government data, hate crimes in England and Wales have risen for the first time in 3 years. Police recorded nearly 116,000 hate crime offences in the year ending March, a 2% increase from the previous year. The data also shows a sharp 19% rise in religious hate crimes against Muslims. In contrast, hate crimes targeting Jewish people fell by 18% over the same period. As the numbers rise and communities grapple with fear, the call for safety and dignity grows louder. For the young woman in Walsall and many others like her, justice may come through arrests and courts. But healing will take much longer. For now, the Walsall case stands as a stark reminder of how deeply racism and misogyny still cut through society. Well, that's all we have on the show today. We will see you again tomorrow at the same time. Until then, thank you for watching.
China, first round. China.